Hi, everyone. This is Sandra Alexei from Game Changer and from my personal muse. And we are starting a new series of where we're going to have a platform for all of our healers and different people that have gifts to help us with our mind, body, and spirit and our personal self-discovery. And especially what we're going through right now in the world is really important that we go within and we take care of ourselves. Okay. And today I have Patricia with me, and she has a place called Zen Wellness. Okay. And it's in Edmonton, and you can get a hold of her. And I had met her at the Edmonton Earth Expo, and she is a foot reflexologist. Now you have to understand, for years, my whole thing is mind, body, and spirit, and discovering self, and our first relationship is with ourselves and that type of thing. I had foot reflexology maybe 35 years ago. And my first one was in British Columbia, Patricia. And so she started working on my feet, and I just said to her, oh my heavens, I think I'm getting nauseous. Okay. And so I was really interested in it. And of course, my whole journey has been with health. When I worked in the spas, worked with people that were foot reflexologists, hand reflexologists, but I find it incredibly hard. And I'm very, very, what's the word, picky. I have spa owners that ask me to go in to have massages and different things to give them feedback on the staff, because you never know as an owner when the healer or the service provider is working. So when I got to work with you, you gave me like a mini treatment. It was just like, oh my God, you are absolutely incredible. It is very, very hard to find somebody with your healing energy, your experience, just everything about you. And so today, what we're going to do is we're going to have Patricia explain to us about reflexology. And I would like you, Patricia, we're right in your little office right there too. So you can tell them about yourself, where you are, and what's the basis of reflexology. Thank you. Okay.
Okay. Well, reflexology is the study of reflexes. So what that means is that the body has reflexes in it that are connected to the different parts of the body, the organs, the glands. So when we do reflexology, we apply pressure to the different reflexes. And in my case, I do hand and foot reflexology.
Mm-hmm.
So I apply pressure to the different reflex points on the feet. And by doing that, it helps to relieve tension. It can improve circulation and support the body's efforts to function optimally. So a lot of the different ailments that it can help is like muscle and skeletal pain, insomnia, anxiety, stress, and then the hormonal imbalances and digestive issues that people can have.
Yeah, you also said something about, for me, because after I did the little basic one at the show, I went and had a full one, was that it also works like on the parasympathetic nervous system.
Yes, what it does is, so often we're in fight or flight mode.
Right.
Our nervous system is activated, we're under stress. And with reflexology, what it helps to do is relax the body. It puts us back, it activates the parasympathetic nervous system and puts us back into a rest and relax mode. So that when we rest, that's when the body heals itself. It has an innate ability to do that, and it strives to maintain balance.
Right. Yeah, it's all about balance. And that's what I find. And I think nowadays, especially what's happening in the collective. Okay, we've got a lot of chaos, we have a lot of transformation, we have a lot of, and that is affecting people, especially with the announcement of the that people have to stay at home and they're closing things down. And so people are concerned about finances, they're concerned about a lot of things. And until this, because I do astrology and numerology, we've had since 2007, there's been huge transformation taking place. So we've had transformation in relationships. So the stress level is really high. My own personal feeling is that stress is one of the major killers. I think it is kind of like a foundational thing. I can't say it from an expert. I can only say my own health journey, Patricia, for me was to take care of that. Okay. And so you do other things other than reflexology too.
Yes, I also do Reiki and holistic nutrition. And so often I combine a lot of the skills from all of those
Right.
modalities. You know, if I'm seeing somebody for reflexology, a lot of times, as long as they're open to inviting in the Reiki energy, they'll receive some Reiki along with it. And with the my recommendations at the end of a session, I will often give recommendations for nutrients that can help support the different systems that might need support.
Right. Okay. And so basically, that's what I felt. Okay. And so I would like to share my experience. Okay, Patricia, and you can add to it at any time. Because for me, that's what it's about. Okay. It's like, here we're platforming you. And the reason I've chosen you and asked you, because I found it was such a phenomenal treatment for me. Okay. And I have struggled with a lot of different things with my health. Okay. And so money has never been an object. I've really tried everything. Okay. Like when it comes to the Ayurvedic, when it comes to the traditional Chinese, when it comes to the Tibetan, because I was told years ago, I had a near-death experience and I was told that I would be in a wheelchair in 5 years. I had picked up a parasite for the muscular system and my body shut down. Well, obviously I'm here. And it was a lot to do with alternative and holistic medicine. Okay. And a Dr. Ong always used to say, the healer is within. We just need to touch that healer within. And I believe you have the kind of healing hands and the kind of energy for that. Okay. So when Patricia started working on my feet, she had no idea about what challenges I had in my body. And for me, it's not weight. I have a pretty good energy system, you know, this type of thing. But when she started working on my toes and my feet, and you can explain after kind of what it was just like, wow, I thought I was going to go through the roof. Okay. And it was like, oh, of course, my thinking was, so what is that? Where is that? And so she explained to me a lot about how it had a lot to do with, and you can tell them, but I'm just going to say it in my words first, Patricia, how it had a lot to do with my teeth and with my sinuses. Now, she had no idea the work I have had done on my mouth and the pain that I go through with the sinus and the mouth. And then you can explain some of the glands, because we have the pineal gland, the pituitary, that type of thing there, which I use certain vibrational medicine for and that type of thing, music. But anyway, when I was born and I was 2 years old, I fell on an old cast iron bed. So what I did was I hit my mouth. And so I wore braces for years. But as I grew, I had a tooth in the inside of the roof of my mouth, which they eventually had to take out. That's why it's really tender in that area. And then all of this has had to, I have not implants, I won't get them. I've got caps. Okay. I've had to have a lot of root canals. And actually, one of the root canals was so bad that the professor from the university actually did it for me. And I was going to live in Hawaii for a while. And he said, he gave me a dentist name over there, and antibiotics. So it's very acute. And what happened over the years was, it was like abscessing. Okay. And so when it abscesses, what happens, it goes into the bloodstream. I think, is that right, Patricia? And so I was literally being poisoned from my teeth. Okay. And so what's now is, yes, it's sore, but the bottom line is, it's like you found out something that I need to work on and take care of. Okay. And the interesting thing, it was also at an emotional level, because I have my own belief systems and everything. And it was like, there was tears brought to my eyes. It was kind of a release. It was just a lot of things going on. And that's why, for me, I wanted you to say, you're not just a reflexologist, you're a Reiki person, but in my estimation, you are a healer. And I've worked with shamans and healers, like in Mexico and in Hawaii, and there's some in BC. And so I want to say I'm very thankful to have met you, and because I can't see you right now because of the conditions with society, I will be back. And so now, if you can explain to them what some of the issues you found out with my little feet. It was like at the end of my toes and that type of thing. Hey, so that kind of, that'll give them an idea. None of them are going to try it themselves because they don't have a clue. Okay. You might have a hand thing and do it, but you have to have the touch and everything. But that's what I found fascinating. And I would say to you, well, what is that about? And I'm sure you remember some of them, maybe not all of them, but if you want to share that, how it was for you.
Yes. So just first of all, when I went back to look at your form from the show, there isn't a lot of information given regarding what your challenges are. So yes, as I worked on your feet and I worked on the toes, first of all, the toes relate to the neck, the brain, most of the endocrine glands, the teeth and the sinuses, and the eyes and the ears. So as I was working on your toes, I found, tiny deposits and imbalances. And without knowing what your challenges were, I had told you what the different points were.
Yeah.
And when I went to work the teeth on the base of each of the toes, you had a lot of tenderness there. Like on a scale of 0 to 5, it was over 5, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was.
Yes. And, I was thinking that because like you had that emotional release, when you think back to what happened to you with your teeth and that, it can be a trauma as well. So by working those reflexes, I'm sure that's part of where the emotional release came from as well.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, by working on the toes and until some of that tenderness is gone, it helps to restore and maintain balance and remove some of the blockages that are affecting your systems.
Yeah, because there's like what they always told me with the energy systems, because I've done a lot with the Chinese medicine and that type of thing. We have energy system, and the energy gets congested. And then at the top of my foot, okay, these would be my toes, and at the top of my foot, you work some of that area too.
Yes, and that's the immune system reflexes. Okay. So again, if you are having some issues with the immunity, then those areas are going to be tender. They're going to feel, as I work over the foot, they're going to feel a little different than some of the other areas of the foot. They're going to have some deposits, some imbalances. And I just work through them until you're not feeling the tenderness. Some of the deposits break down. And then after a session, you just make sure and drink lots of fluids so that it helps to flush some of that away.
Right. And so that's interesting because when we talk about the immune system, I had gone through a divorce, was going to university, had teenagers, and was driving. So there was a tremendous amount of stress. This would have been in the late 70s. Okay. And I ended up getting a teaching job, but I was sick, and I ended up getting mono, which really hits the immune system, and had to take, it was an older doctor out in Stony Plain. He gave me this liquid stuff. So I have been challenged, and because I'm very strong, but I'm very sensitive in my spiritual way. So I have to really have strong personal boundaries and take care of myself. And so right now, I think everybody, and I will say this, everybody, the immune system is so, so powerful. Okay, to me, it's like the basis, it's like the foundation of building a house. So it's kind of like my foundation, and I'm going to work up. And so I think we have the stress in society right now. Okay, a lot of people have high blood pressure, they got everything. There's a lot of, I'm sorry, a lot of overweight people. There's really stressing the body, stressing the hips, the back, the feet, everything. Okay, a lot of relationship issues. The first relationship is with yourself. So if you take the time to go within, which the book Game Changer is about, and then you start taking care of your health, you're creating value for yourself. Okay, so if somebody says, oh, well, how much is that? It's, but how many bottles of wine do you buy, or how many packages of cigarettes? It's really none of my business. But when it comes to health, I think that there's an old saying, people will lose their health to gain their wealth. And then once they've got their wealth, because they never took care of themselves, it costs them so much, and people are in the hospital and all different type of things. So I just want to say that I think it's really, really important, and I hope that everybody, you can tell them what your address and everything is, and I'll put it on the hashtags, the Zen Tree, because you're on the south side of Edmonton. And I would really recommend someone, once Patricia's up and going, you can check out her website, okay, that you go and see her. I would also think that she would be a really, really great speaker for, say, a women's group, or say for a teacher's convention or whatever. Because nobody thinks about the feet, the hands. People are going to have manicures. And as a spa director, okay, for a lot of years, I built spas. I worked as a project manager, and then I was a director, okay, and not just little spas, but big ones. So pedicures are really important. And you know, I could not find one person, Patricia, that was a reflexologist. And to me, it's a natural meld that if you're an esthetician and you love pedicures, that you could enhance your program with doing that. Okay.
Okay.
And so what we did find, yeah, so I would say any massage, any spa people out there that do a lot of pedicures, and you have, because I used to be able to find a good podiatrist to send them to. Okay. Couldn't find a good reflexologist. So like, you're like a gold nugget for me, is that people would get a hold of you, come and see the appointment. And you know who people forget, that we walk on our feet all the time. It's like our foundation. And
Yeah.
men that have work boots, nurses that have to wear their shoes, and people that are working, you are really working those feet. And I think it's one of the greatest things you can do for yourself. And I think it's also really good for a gift certificate for someone. Like, you buy them something and it goes away. Flowers die. You know, this shirt will grow old or whatever, but you are actually giving them an experience. Okay. And I think that's really important. So if you want to tie up, and if there's anything you have to say, and you just tell them where you are, what your phone number is, and they can replay it. And I've got on the hashtags the Zen Tree Wellness Center.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So Yeah, I'm located in Edmonton. The address is number 110, 3907 98th Street. Um, I'm located in the Ropo Touch with another practitioner. And the phone number here is it's 780 oh, sorry, 576-3477.
I know we don't forget, we don't remember our number because we don't own it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's really
And the,
it's close to South Center, isn't it?
yeah, or just
On 90th Street.
South Edmonton
Right,
Common.
right, that's what I meant, South Edmonton Common. Okay.
Yeah. Um, and the website is www.zentreewellness.ca.
I'm writing that down too, so I'm going to add that to the hashtag. So is there anything else you would like to say? Because I would like to thank everybody, first and foremost, for watching. I would really appreciate it if you liked this video and if you think of subscribing and maybe share it with somebody, because everybody has a friend that, and if you really care about somebody, you want to make sure that their health and their relationships and everything are good. And like I said, think about it, because Patricia, I think you'd be a really good speaker too. And different organizations, again, it's health. And it's like, how can we really take care of ourselves? And it helps balance the brain, because you had also mentioned something about I think it was my pineal and pituitary gland. And I have a girlfriend that says I'm directionally challenged. And she said, that's because your pineal gland is a little bit calcified. I said, thank you so much. Okay. So thank you so much, Patricia. And thank you everyone for watching, and have a super day.
Thank you for inviting me.
Okay.